There, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you things that you need to know before hot foiling on colored cardstock. I'll be playing with the Glimmer Hot Foil Kit of the Month from Spellbinders for March 2022. It's a really fun kit. It has hot foil plates, dies, and a roll of my favorite hot foil. So we're going to be talking about the things you need to know and making some cute creations. So let's jump on into that fun. Here is the cardstock that I'm going to be using on my card today. This is made by Fun Stamper's Journey and was previously carried at the Spellbinders shop. It's no longer available, but I found it to be really good cardstock for hot foiling. So I wanted to talk about hot foiling on colored cardstock because this is not available and there's issues with hot foiling on colored cardstock. So we're going to get into that, but first we're just going to do some hot foiling so you can see how it works. This is the quick trimmer and this is the Aura foil that I am cutting. It is the foil that comes in the Glimmer Hot Foil Kit of the Month for March 2022 from Spellbinders. It's a kit that comes to your door every month. You don't have to order. It's like a subscription, but you can of course change that at any time. So I cut some little squares and then I have my cardstock there. I'm putting the foil face up, then I'm putting the Glimmer Hot Foil plate face down. I'm going to tape that in place because if this moves when it goes through, then we're going to get double foiling and that's not cute. So I decided to go ahead and do all three of the flowers from this set at once, and that is going to save me a little bit of time. So each one taped in place, and then the smallest flowers, kind of long and skinny, so I was able to cut that down with my scissors, and that saves me a little bit of foil I can use on the next flower. So everything's taped in place. This is going to go onto my Glimmer Hot Foil system once the lights up to tell me that it's ready, like that. We'll put this face down onto the machine, and then we'll put the plates on top. There are two plates that come with this, spacers, and then I have a shim, which is a tip that you can use with your machine. You're going to want to practice and see if you need a shim or not. Some papers you're going to need a shim, some you're not, because not all paper is created equal and not all foil is created equal. Plus there's differences in machines, so you have to just practice and see if a shim is necessary for you. Now there, I just rolled my hot foil through the die cut machine and back. It's taking the pressure from the machine and pressing that hot foil into the paper, and that is how it is transferring. So rolling back is another thing you can try when hot foiling on colored cardstock. It might need a second pass. So you roll it through and you roll it back, but you want to go very slow because if it jumps too much, you could get that double foiled look, and we don't like that. So you can see I had a little spot there on the pink on the leaves that didn't foil perfectly, but otherwise it foiled really good. So for this one, I'm doing the orange cardstock and I only went one pass through. I didn't roll back. And so we're going to see if there's any difference, if it's worse on this one than it was, but it foiled really good. So I did notice that on almost everything I hot foiled, I had a few spots on those leaves of this flower that didn't foil great. So I have no idea what that's about. But here, can you see in the very corner, I got a little over foiling. It foiled where it wasn't supposed to. When that happens, you can take a sand eraser and erase that. Now here it doesn't matter because I'm going to die cut out my flowers, but let's say you were trying to make a background. You didn't want the foiling there. Use a sanding eraser for that and it will come right off. Love it. Okay, on this green one where I did the leaves, we had some excess foiling. So the foil kind of collected in the corners and it's really loose and just sitting on top. So you can just take a brush like this and brush that away. Totally gone. So just some little tips because you're going to get more of these types of things when hot foiling on colored cardstock. So we need to make sure we're working with smooth paper. Now, colored cardstock by nature is not as smooth as white paper. So there are going to be some issues with colored cardstock. So I thought, well, let's just try and go for textured cardstock all the way. This isn't really what I'm talking about when I say you want to have smooth cardstock and not textured, because you can buy textured cardstock. But what I'm saying is that plain colored cardstock has more of a texture to it than white. So that's why we need these little things to know before you go, right, with your colored cardstock. So you can see this did not foil well at all. So textured cardstock is not the perfect medium for it. But now I want to try some other cardstock. This is Smooth Cheap cardstock, but it says smooth, right? This is very lightweight. It's got a white core to it. I picked this up at Walmart. I think I needed something for like a kid's craft project, art project. So this worked great for that, but I thought, well, let's see how this is going to do hot foiling. So you can see I'm taping it in place just like I did on the flowers, and then I'll run this through. This particular plate set is from last month's Glimmer Hot Foil Kit of the Month, the February kit. So I like that I can save them and combine them with other kits that I get. So you can see here, it foiled pretty good. There's a few kind of, like, it's not perfect. It's a little scratchy in some spots, but it did way better than I thought. So I thought I'd show you the comparison between one done on some black cardstock from Spellbinders, and you know, there's a few little spots on that one too, but I think the one on the left is a little better. Let's do some cardstock comparison now. I have cardstock from Stampin' Up!, Concord and Ninth, Hefty Doodle, Spellbinders, and Scrapbook.com. We're going to hot foil on all of these. This one from Scrapbook.com comes in a pad, and it's the kind with a white core. It's 85 pound, and I thought we'd give it a go. This would be a cardstock I would never gravitate right to hot foil on. Not sure about it. But here's another tip I learned, and it was my first time trying it, on cardstock that you maybe have trouble with. Use your anti-static powder. It's maybe going to make the surface a little bit smoother, and it might foil better. So on each of these, I'm going to do straight hot foiling, and I'm going to do hot foiling with the anti-static powder underneath. And I'm only running this through one time on my die machine, but I am using my shim. And you can see this did not come out pretty at all. Not good. So let's move on to cardstock from Spellbinders. This is the cardstock that they currently carry that is in stock, not like the paper I used at the beginning of the video. And I have hot foiled on this before, so I kind of know what's going to happen on this one. But this cardstock is smooth. It is a heavier weight, and I think it foils really good. Now there I got some excess foil, so I just brushed it away. I might not need a shim with this, so sometimes if you have excess foiling like that, you won't need your shim. Okay, so now we have some navy cardstock. This is from Hefty Doodle. This one is pretty smooth also, so I thought this would probably do pretty good for hot foiling. So I've got my upper one, no powder, and the bottom one has some powder on it. You can see it really good on this darker cardstock. Okay, so how did it do? Again, I got some excess foiling, but I just leave my shim in there because I want to have a side-by-side comparison of all of these. I want to know how it works under the same conditions. So I've left my shim in every time. All right, so here again, I had trouble with those leaves, but overall, the Hefty Doodle cardstock did pretty good. Pretty good. I'm liking it. Okay, this is from Concord and Ninth now, and I think this one also has good potential. It felt smooth. It's a nice weight. I like that. So we're going to give this one a go. I love this color of cardstock also. I'll try to have all the cardstocks that I can linked for you below so you can check them out. All right, the reveal. Also really good. My machine is getting very hot, by the way. And I do find that I like my machine a little bit more hot when I am doing this, when I am doing hot foiling on colored cardstock. So sometimes I will leave my paper on the machine even after the timer goes off. The timer's going to stay on for about a minute, which is how long you typically leave this sitting there and before you run it through your die machine. But if you leave it on there a little bit longer and make sure your plates are nice and hot, you get a little bit better impression. So this Stampin' Up! Cardstock was the most textured of all of them, and I did not like the results. When you look up close, it's just not crisp. This is not one I would automatically gravitate towards for hot foiling. But you know what? I was thinking about making sure the machine is really hot. And this scrapbook.com cardstock, I ran through my very first one and the machine had previously been off. So I wanted to give it a try, and I decided I would let it set a little bit longer and I would run it forward and do the rollback. And it did really good. So don't give up. Keep trying. All right, I wanted to show you some hot foiling on colored cardstock with colored foil. Kind of a tone on tone with the scattered dots plate. This is one of my favorite plates. I have a whole video just on this plate. I'll have it linked for you at the end of this video if you want to check it out. All right, so I ran that through, but you can see most of these dots are not solid as they should be. There's little tiny flecks of foil missing. So in my personal experience, I feel like gold foil and maybe silver are the best to hot foil on. Here's some other things I have foiled on. Some inked backgrounds and some gel press prints. Now on these, I don't mind if they're perfect. And you know what? I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, so I just tried it. I just had fun. Now let's talk about all the things you can try to get this to work for you. First, try using smooth cardstock. Use a shim if it works for your machine. Try to give it a little extra time to heat up before running it through your die machine, and you can always try the rollback. I have also found that thin lined plates are easier than big, bold plates. Gold foil might work better. I'm not sure. Also, try your anti-static powder bag. That might do the trick for you. And don't forget to practice. Okay, let's make a card now. I'm going to bring out all of those roses and die cut them out that I previously foiled. The dies for this set are going to cut on the hot foil line. So actually, some of the hot foil is going to be left behind when you run this through. That's why they have such a bold line around them. That is what gave me the idea to use this set with colored cardstock, because if you use a traditional die and die cut these out, you're going to have a border that's also colored. So I love this, and now I can put these flowers on a white background. So I did them in all the colors of the rainbow, because when you can't decide, just do them all, right? But look how pretty and delicate this leaf is. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. All right, for the background of my card, I'm taking some black licorice silk and splattering that on. It's going to dry with a little bit of an iridescent finish, and a lot of this is going to be covered up, so it doesn't really matter that I have kind of what might seem like a lot. All right, I am arranging the flowers how I want them to go and the leaves, and on the larger flowers I have foam squares on the back, but on the leaves and the small flowers I don't. So I'm going to do a mix of gluing and using foam squares. When this is all set how I want it, I'm bringing in a piece of press and seal. I'm going to press that down, and then I can pick up these flowers. I can do all of the adhering at once. I love that. So just peel off the background and then peel the backings off of the foam squares. I'm going to add liquid glue to those smaller flowers and the leaves. And then when I got to the end of adding the glue, I thought I might have to wiggle some of this around. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on those foam squares. So if I have to move anything, it's actually going to give me the grace period to do that. Now I can take this sheet and just press that down onto my card where I want it to go. So I'm making sure to press down on all of those leaves, and I do have a little bit of time here to change things if something's not right. I did have one of those flowers, somehow the stem got above the flower instead of underneath it, so I was able to quickly move that, and it looks much better. And there it is, all ready to go. So quick and easy, less stressful. Now I did notice that the press and seal picked up a little bit and removed a little bit of that hot foiling, so Take note of that and be careful. All right, back to that black sentiment I did at the beginning. I die cut it out with a circle die and added that with some foam squares to my card. And then it's time to embellish because I love embellishments. These are some gems or rhinestones from the Trinity Stamps shop, and I'm just going to put them in and around the flowers, gluing them in place, and I just thought this was a nice touch. These gems are black, but they have an iridescent coating on the top, so they're going to pick up colors around them. They're going to look different as you turn them in the light, and I thought that's perfect for hot foiling, right? Yeah, so I'll pour the excess back in with my little tidy tray, and these are the Melanite Magic rhinestones. I'll link them for you below. If you're interested, you can check that out. And then I'm gluing this down to my card base, which by the way is a 5x7 card base. And here you can see exactly what this card looks like when it's all done. You can see all the shine from the Glimmer Hot foil in Aura, and on that black cardstock it pops so good. The other thing I like about hot foiling on colored cardstock is you can get so many different looks with just one roll of foil. I love that. I hope you learned a few things today and you will give hot foiling on colored cardstock a try. You never know how it's going to look until you just give it a try. So don't be afraid to practice. It's just cardstock. Happy stamping. I will see you all again soon on the next video. Bye.